But nowadays, it is not just the core questions, applied questions, contemporary questions. Anything which is contemporary, current in nature, connected to economy. See, to find an answer for it, first analyze the question paper. Analyze the question paper means all the average students, what you try to do? Take the old question paper, try to find answers for it. Don't find answers for it. Any of that question will not come back. Areas of focus are related to policy priorities of the government. All of our questions are in one way or another way, they are connected to needs of the government, governance, demands of the governance, issues of the governance, challenges of the governance. That's all. Nothing less, nothing more. Yeah, good afternoon, all of you. Yes, let's make it a two-way session rather than one-way session. So I hope let's have some productive, interactive session here regarding prelims, right? Of course, I will set the tone first, then get some response from you or clarification, whatever you call, right? See, to begin with, what I emphasize here is this preliminary examination as such has undergone a qualitative transformation in the last decade. In fact, when we took the exam somewhere around in 1988, 89. So 89, 88, 88, I think I took somewhere around 88, 88, 89 in that area, just before 90 actually. See, at that time when this preliminary examination was held, it was basically an examination of elimination. It was meant to eliminate people. Eliminate whom? Eliminate the non-serious students. The idea is only to get only the serious students who actually want to take the CLSS examination, so that they will get into the main examination. That was the thing. So basically a sort of filtration process, elimination process at that time. But from the stage of elimination, this examination has grown, it has transformed. Now it is no more an elimination process. It is an exam of selection. They are selecting the people here, like the actual examination, main examination. See, earlier civil service means actually it is the main examination, is the actual examination. Preliminary examination was never considered as an examination at all. In fact, I will tell you one simple incident. When I was there taking this exam, I was in ITBHU. Now it is IIT Varanasi, right? We were in Varanasi. So from Varanasi, we took the exam. And our exam center was in Allahabad, present day Prayagraj. It's almost 3.5 to 4 hours journey. So tomorrow exam. And we had our breakfast and then went for lunch to Allahabad. So 4 hours journey, we went there and we stayed in the NIT Allahabad at that time, the so-called REC. MNREC in some one of our friends' hostel, we stayed there. Then somewhere at around, I think we were there by 12:31, had our lunch. Then at 2:30, I discovered that my hall ticket is missing. It was at 2:30. So, rushed back to the bus stand, took a bus, went back to Varanasi, went to the hostel, IT hostel there. Then again got the hall ticket, came back. But it was late night. By the time I came back, it was around 2, 3, something like that. Early morning examination. But still, there was no panic. See, normally before the examination, we want to be quite calm and do some last minute preparation, this, that, etc. But there was no panic in us because we never considered the preliminary examination as an examination at all. It is almost taken for granted. Writing the mains was always taken for granted for any serious student at that time, because it was basically an examination of elimination. But I do understand now the things have changed. Now in the preliminary examination, not only the non-serious students, many of the serious students are also left out. So that is a fact of the matter, present day situation. So naturally, you need to take the examination more seriously rather than what we have taken. So we never failed in the prelims. There is no question of failing in the prelims at all. That's what I say. We never considered it as an exam at all, preliminary examination. But now, so that's not the case. You need to take up the things very seriously because there is an every chance or very high chance of getting eliminated in the preliminary examination itself. And now we, of course, I have been in this guiding the students since 1996. I have been guiding the students. This year it's almost 30 years. 30 years. So we have rich experience of guiding the students in Hyderabad, Bangalore, Delhi, in all three centers. So what we find nowadays is many a times we find some of the students quitting the whole process without even writing the main examination. They come here with high hopes, they take the coaching, put up all efforts, and finally exhaust their attempts without even writing the main examination. That is the state of affairs now. See, I'm not here trying to frighten you, but you should know the depth. You should know the issue. That is fact now. So naturally, you have to take the things very seriously. And at the same time, you need to approach the examination in a very professional manner. That's what I always insist. This examination is basically an examination which seeks to test your approach rather than your intelligence. Its approach very, very important now. So in order to understand this, you need to know what changes have come over a period of time. The examiner and student, it is almost like a cat and mouse game. That it. So examiner is trying to go ahead of the student. Student is trying to catch the examiner. That is the situation, catch-21 situation here we have. So in this year, many a times the examiner is always ahead. And students are always trying to catch him from behind, that's all. But you cannot cross this hurdle if you are trying to catch him. No. You can cross this hurdle provided that you are ahead of the examiner. You should think ahead of the examiner. 2 steps ahead of the examiner. That is most important. So how to be ahead of the examiner is the most important aspect. If you are following the examiner, trying to catch him, you continue to follow him, that's all. Never you will be able to catch up. No. So for it, you need to understand the trend. What is the demand of the examination? What questions are being asked? See, syllabus as such has not changed. Syllabus is one and the same. It is an open-ended syllabus. What we have done in 1980s, the same syllabus is there in 2020s also. No change in the syllabus. But what changed these questions? The way the questions are asked. There is a tremendous change in the way the questions are asked. So now the questions, number one, the content or the depth at which the questions are being asked. That's the first important aspect. And number two, the way or the pattern in which the questions are being asked. These are the two important dimensions you need to understand. In fact, when we wrote the examination in 1980s, late 1980s or early 1990s, whatever it may be, during that period, questions were great. And now, options are great. Do you get my point here? At that time, it is the question that is important. Now, question is not a big thing now. What is that 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2, 2 and 3, A, B and C, B and C? That is more important now. Many times, if the options are not devised in such a way, then you could have very easily got the answer at all. In fact, the examiner is playing by options. That 1, 2, 3 he is giving, 1 and 2, 2 and 3 thing. That is where he is playing nowadays. And he is trying to catch you on the wrong foot. There you need to be extremely vigilant. That's why I say approach. And an average student always focuses on the question rather than the option that is given. No, be careful. It is the option which is defeating you, not the question. Many times questions and areas can be predicted very easily. You know from which area the question is going to come. Your faculty knows from which area the question is going to come. Many of the guides or whatever the materials are there, they also know pretty well. But where we are not able to catch the UPSC examiner is the way the options are prepared. That is most important. That is. Then another important aspect is the format of the question. This is where he introduced revolutionary changes. Earlier, what was the format? Some question is there, A, B, C, D options are there. You identify whether it is A, B, or C, or D, that's all. And initially there was no negative marking also. You can safely play the game. That it. At that time, we used to have one golden rule in our exam. When we were writing the prelims, golden rule is if you don't know anything, you opt for C. Simple. If you don't know the actual answer, at that time negative marking was not there. So safely you go for C. 66% probability is that C will be the answer. That is how we used to do the things. Then another important golden rule we used to play at that time, because at that time, of course, negative marking was not there. We used to safely do all logics there. Another logic we used to play is don't try to find the answer. After all, whether it was in 1989 or it is in 2025 or 26, you are not going to know the straight answer straight away without having known the options, this and that. Maybe out of 100 now, maybe hardly 15-20 questions. Maximum 20 questions you will be knowing the straight answer without doing any analysis in the examination hall. That is different. If anybody says that I know answers for 80 questions, 50 questions, 70 questions, probably he is a fool living in a different paradise. He will never clear the exam at all in another 20 years. No. You are simply underestimating the UPSC examiner there. So what we used to do at that time was not identifying the answer. We used to go for the process of elimination, simple. Just eliminate the things. So I never used to say whether answer is C or B or A. No. I used to check whether A is not the answer, B is not the answer, D is not the answer. And I say C is the answer. Why I am saying C is the answer? Not because I know that C is the answer. I know that A is not the answer, B is not the answer, D is not the answer. That's why I say C is the answer. And 99% we are correct. Of course, this is not, we are not doing in any irrational way. No, it's not a guesswork. It's not a guesswork, no. It is an intelligent approach. Even for you to say that A is not the answer, or C is not the answer, or D is not the answer, you should have a lot of background. Isn't it? You cannot simply brush aside and say this cannot be the answer at all. To say that this cannot be the answer, this is wrong, you should have a lot of information for it. Many times we used to possess information for eliminating rather than picking. Even today also, this elimination process is relevant to certain extent. May not be to the same extent, but it is to the certain extent. Particularly when it comes to the answers here, you always go for intelligent guessing, not raw guess. You go for intelligent guess. What is that intelligent guess you are talking about? Firstly, intelligent guess is mainly meant for elimination process. For elimination, you can adopt the intelligent guessing process. So you can say that this cannot be the answer for so and so results. I don't know whether another thing is correct or not, but at least this cannot be the answer at all. That will many a times, two options you can eliminate many a times. And one option and between the other two options, it is a dicey always. Many a times when you answer that, means when you are answering the preliminary question paper, the biggest problem that you find is out of A, B, C, D, two things you are able to eliminate. But out of the other two, it is a fix. So who is able to pick that right one from the remaining two? That is the litmus test. That is, ultimately, your whole examination boils down to this simple process. That is. And many students say this is luck. No, that is not luck completely. No, I do agree, luck plays a role. Luck role is only 15%, 1-5. 85% no. Out of the remaining two, which one you are picking, that is where your background, the wide range of preparation you have made, and large amount of information you possess, and your abilities of analytical skills, interpretation, correlation, that is what exactly matters. But for all these two things, another important aspect is the format. Again, we'll come back to the question of format. How the questions are being framed nowadays. It is not like ABCD now. From ABCD, they went to another way. What is another way? 1, 2, 3, 4, they went. Then earlier it used to be ABCD, which is correct. Then later on they introduced 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3, 4. Then A is 1 and 2, B is 2 and 3. Another one is 3 and 4. Another one is all the above, or otherwise none of the above. This is another format brought. That introduced a new dimension. All students suddenly on their toes. What is to be done? That made the things more trickier. Then they introduced another format of question, the assertion reason. That is a new variety altogether. They used to give one assertion, one reason, and asking you say assertion is right, reason is wrong, assertion is wrong, reason is right, assertion is right, reason supports the assertion, or reason doesn't support the assertion. That introduced a new dimension to the question paper completely. Then they introduced the things like matching. Two groups, match them. A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, match the things. And now we have come to a new era. Then came another one, using graphs, diagrams, some sort of interpretation or interpolation type thing. Then recently, for the last 5 to 6 years, the examiner is, isn't it, scoring over you by taking it to the statement format now. This is similar to the assertion reason, but nothing like supporting it, but statement. You look into your question paper now. Most of your questions finally, which will decide your fate, are basically statements. 1, 2, 3 statements are given, and he will give his options 1 and 2 correct, 2 and 3 correct, 3 and 4 correct, none of the above, all the above, not correct, yes. So there, what he is doing here, number one, he is testing your alertness, whether you are alert or not. Here also, correct is there, not correct is there. You need to be careful. Then statements are the one, these are not like your earlier questions, whereby you immediately pinpoint the things there. And in the statements also, they added a new dimension recently. What is that new dimension? In one question, one statement is from one section, another statement is from another section. Or out of 3 statements, 2 statements are from one section and one statement is from another section. That means what you call it as cross-sectional questions or cross-sectoral questions have come. This made the things much more trickier and life hell for you. That it. And this has reduced your utility of your guides and all other things. Earlier, guides materials actually used to play a role. They used to provide a lot of support to the student. And nowadays, frankly, honestly speaking, in the main examination, most of the guides and materials may help you, but not in the preliminary exam. Preliminary examination, all these guides, materials, they have no role, zero role to play actually. Nothing. And the examiner is liberally taking the statements from different areas, different things. That is. And as a result, nowadays, if you look into your question paper, sometimes it is becoming difficult to identify which question is from which section. He is combining the things. Polity and economy combined. Economy, international relations combined. Geography, environment combined. Many times only history is left out. Sometimes he may even mix history also with some other areas. Science and technology and environment combined. That is. And another thing is, earlier there used to be separate questions on current affairs. That used to be a separate section. Nowadays, no current affairs. Why? Because your whole paper is current affairs. You got the point? So here, what type of questions are asked? That is the next dimension. Number one, core of the subject. Core economy, core geography, core polity. That is. But nowadays, it is not just the core questions, applied questions, contemporary questions. Anything which is contemporary, current in nature, connected to economy, connected to polity, connected to geography, connected to environment. That is how the things are played. So now you look into your whole format. What is there? It is basically statements. And statements also different statements from different sections. And not only that, certain statements from core section, certain things from contemporary section, current areas. That is the challenge of the exam. So how to handle such things? So we need to find some answers for it. See, to find an answer for it, first analyze the question paper. Analyze the question paper means all again average students, what you try to do? Take the old question paper, try to find answers for them. No, don't find answers for them. Any of that question will not come back again. You want to find the answer. Some question is given, okay, let there be. Try to understand it. But rather than answer for the question, what is more important is what message the examiner is giving by giving that question in the examination paper. Because now no question is without message. Every question has some context. It is being picked up, it is being given for some reason. At least out of 100 questions, you can say at least 70 questions have relevance. And you have to blame yourself if you are not able to anticipate it. That's all. Because they have some clear-cut relevance, some contemporary context, some logic is there. They are in use for different reasons. And they are picked up for question. So now you have to identify what are the areas of focus. Whether it is in economy, or it is in geography, or it is in environment, or it is in polity, you have to identify the areas of focus. And from these areas of focus, definitely the question will come. How the question is going to be framed, that is left to your skills. That is. So, are you able to identify these areas of focus or not? That is. Yes. So areas of focus, how you can identify? Areas of focus are related to policy priorities of the government. This you need to understand. They are connected to the policy priority of the government, governance. Now there is a concerted effort in the UPSC to make the examination more and more relevant. Earlier in 1980s, when the examination was conducted, it has no relevance at all. It is nothing to do with administration. Some standard books, standard questions, standard things, students used to come out and they have no knowledge about the challenges of administration at all. And even the students of public administration also do not know what are the challenges of public administration at that time. Forget about students who have taken other options. That was the scenario. But now, the UPSC expects every student who is writing the exam and clearing the exam to be aware of the needs, demands, challenges, and issues of governance. That's all. That is the bottom line. This is the general framework. All of our questions are in one way or another way, they are connected to needs of the governance, demands of the governance, issues of the governance, challenges of the governance. That's all. Nothing less, nothing more. So what you have to do? You need to identify the focus areas in every section and connected to them, how they are connected to the present day governance, present day administrative challenges. How you can identify the administrative challenges or focus areas? How you can identify? Any policy that is there, which is under cloud now, or the policy that is recently introduced, or policy that is under discussion, which is under discussion. Policy may be in the form of a legislative enactment, or it may be in the form of an, what you call it as a scheme, or otherwise it may be an executive instruction that is given. That you need to identify. Then the next important one is the areas in which the government is facing the issues, threats, problems present today. And some of these things you can identify from the media. So where the discussion is there in the media, whether in the print media or in the electronic media, because media always focuses on the problems faced by the governments. Problems of governments mean, don't think that they are problems of government. They are the problems of the society, the country. If you can identify and relate these things, probably you are in the right frame of mind and your approach is correct. If you don't look into these things and just blindly try to read some book, this book, that book, or do write some what you call it as a test, etc., no, that will not take you anywhere. Of course, in this process, the institutions or teacher will help you. They will help you in what? They will help you in identifying the focus areas. They will help you in identifying what you call it as the issues or problems, etc., of governance, where the examiner's interest will be there. See, ultimately, the challenge here is you need to identify where the examiner is looking. If the examiner is looking here, if you are looking there, then you are lost. How much amount of time you have put in, how many institutions you have attended, how many books you have read, how many hours you have spent, it doesn't count. Whether your efforts are streamlined or not, focused or not, that's very important. But don't leave this identification of focus and identification of and relating them to the governance issues. Don't leave entirely to institution. Don't leave it entirely to the faculty. They will do some job, some direction, but you should not leave it to them completely. You need to think on your own. When you start thinking on your own, then you will be able to anticipate the things. So here the biggest challenge in the preliminary examination is anticipating the questions or anticipating the format, anticipating the way a question may be asked. This is one part of the challenge. Of course, this is all preparation related. Then the second part, another big issue is how to handle the examination hall. Exam hall management is another important thing. In fact, compared to the main examination, it is in the preliminary examination you will be under tremendous stress. Rather than in mains exam hall, preliminary examination hall you will be under tremendous stress always. Stress is enormous in nature. Why stress is enormous in prelims rather than in mains in the examination hall? Because in the main examination, you don't know whether you know the answer or not. You know whether you know the answer or not. By looking at the question, you know whether you can answer it or not. In the preliminary examination, you don't know whether you know the answer or not. That is the problem. Everything appears very near, but at the same time very far. That is the problem. And here you have tremendous time. Because you have 2 hours, isn't it? How much is that time? 120 minutes, 100 questions. Isn't it? That means it is one question, 1.2 minutes. So hardly it is, you can take it as 1 minute, not even 1.5 minutes, right? 1 minute, one question, yes, that puts you a lot of pressure. And adding pressure to it is your negative marking. You can't just keep on answering the things there. That is the problem. So how to handle the stress in the examination hall is another big challenge. To handle the stress in the examination hall, of course, one simple thing is you come and take the tests, keeping on taking the tests, more and more tests, etc. This is an introductory type of thing. Now you can react. That will be more appropriate. International relations is more current affairs point of view. It is more interesting from current affairs point of view. So from 1 year before the prelims, all the important events, international events which have occurred, so we have to have grip over all these events. Is it enough or we have to have more information? Yeah. As you rightly pointed out, most of the international relations IR questions are related to the current thing. So current means 1 year is generally enough. But rather than that, your focus should be, your worry should be something else. In the whether in the IR questions also, what is the way the question is asked? Say for example, some conference is held. Some BRICS conference is held. Asian conference is held. And now the Indo-Russia summit is being held, right? Putin is coming. Then what should be your focus? Here I will tell you. Earlier examinations, the focus used to be where the conference was held. If you know it, that is the end at one point of time. Then second one is who attended, who did not attend. That was the second thing. And the third one is what are the resolutions that were made. This used to prepare. If you prepare them, that is the end, isn't it? But the UPSC always had one trick. What is the trick? Where the student stopped his preparation, there the UPSC examiners will start his preparation. That is the trick they are playing. So you think that this conference is held here at so and so place, so many people attended, and these are the resolutions that are made, or final document that has been. You read it. Then you think that this is fine. Okay, nothing can go behind it. Any question that comes related to it, fine. Yes, this the examiner has identified. These people are studying these people. Okay, let us start from here and do something else there. This you need to be careful. I'm not joking. These are not simple things. This is always a mind game between the UPSC examiner and the students. You have to win this mind game. Then now he is asking something else behind it. What is behind it? What are the implications of the agreement that is reached? Particularly implications with respect to India. With respect to India. How does it affect this? Or otherwise, sometimes he is going back to the past. When this organization was formed and how it has evolved. What are its main objectives? Or otherwise, he combining all these things into one package, big package. What is that package? One statement regarding its constitution, functioning, objectives, and one regarding the recommendations that are made, and one regarding its relevance to the India, the context, etc. 3 statements, then 1 and 2, 2 and 3. That's all. This is how the question. So unless you take a 360 degrees view of that event or that policy, you cannot answer that question. Otherwise, what situation you will face in the examination hall? You will be knowing the question. You have acquaintance with the question, but you cannot answer the question. This all of you will face in the examination hall. You feel that question paper is good. You appreciate the examiner also. And you think that you are satisfied that I know all these things. But the problem is you don't know the answer, final answer. Yes, you can react. See, because when you react or respond, then you know your pulse, what exactly you are thinking, what is your problem, what we are thinking is right or not. That is also important because you are a main stakeholder in the examination scheme.
Sir, what are the parameters that I can mark up myself that I am up to the mark of UPSC preparation or not?
Parameters. You can repeat your question.
So, like, what are the parameters to measure myself that I am up to the mark of UPSC preparation of prelims or not?
Don't measure yourself. You be confident that you are very much suitable for the examination. You are able to crack. You will crack it. Be confident first. No. This assessment anyhow the examiner will do at the end. But at least during the stage of preparation, we need to be confident enough. But only thing is, as you have rightly pointed out, you need to check yourself whether you are there on the right path or not, isn't it? So how to check whether you are there on the right path or not? So here, how to check whether you are there on the right path or not is number one, whether you are able to identify the current things that are going on, which are there in the policy measures, on the policy front, or in the execution front, or policy formulation front, at the global level or at the national level or the regional level, whether you have sufficient information about them or not. That is number one. Then number two, whether you are able to relate this information with something else or not. What do you mean by relating it with something else? Say, for example, for the past 2 years, or at least 1 year, 1.5 years, 2 years, there is so much of discussion on artificial intelligence, isn't it? Do you agree? So much on AI. Everywhere you go, AI. Whether it is at the national level or it is at the international level, any academic seminar, this, or you go to electronic media, print media, or when students meet at some place, everywhere AI is being discussed. So naturally, there will be questions on AI, yes or no? There were 3 questions on AI related to AI in the last 2025 question paper. They are there. Everybody agrees that there will be a question on AI, but how that question is going to be? What is an average student or otherwise average faculty will do? You will try to find out what is AI first. What is AI first? Of course, examiner knows you will do all this work, isn't it? So he is looking into something else. What something else he is looking into? AI is connected to why AI is in focus now, and why has AI has become so much controversial, so much debate, this, that, etc. is going on. AI is connected to international geopolitics. It is connected to international relations, geopolitics. It is connected to critical minerals. It is connected to rare earths. You are focusing on technology side of AI. He is focusing on implications of AI and how it is shaping the international relations, how it is shaping your economic policies. So if you are not able to focus on it, whom to blame? You have to blame yourself, because he is giving on the area on which you wanted it to be given focus. So last year question paper, you can see AI, there are 3 questions are there. One is on AI India policy, they have given one question. And another question is on critical minerals related thing, one question is given. Mineral policy of India, third question is given. You check your 2025 question paper. 3 questions. One is pure geography variety, rare earths, critical minerals, our resource position with respect to India, one question. And one question, some sort of economic policy. What is our policy with respect to extraction of mineral resources, minor minerals, critical minerals in India? That is second question. Third one is regarding one AI policy that is there in the country. What AI conference, one conference was held now, earlier what conference is held, and on that AI what is there? 3 questions. Are you able to pick up these 3 dimensions or not? Have you thought that AI is connected to economy? Do you think that AI is connected to resource base, mineral resources? If you are trying to link these 3, then you are on the right track. AI means if you are only focusing on core technology, then you are wrong. Because AI means they said that whoever, some faculty who is teaching science and technology should take care of AI. That S&T faculty will try to dig deep into what is AI, what is machine learning, what is robotics, this and that, etc., etc. But he is nowhere in the question paper. Finally, who is in the question paper? AI policy is in the question paper. Mineral resource policy is in the question paper. Mineral resource base is in the question paper. All 3 connected to AI issue. Connected to AI issue, artificial intelligence issue. This is what you need to be careful in nature. It requires higher level of understanding. It requires higher levels of correlation. Isn't it? This is required from the institution, from the faculty, and the mentors who are doing, and the student, you yourself. But ultimately, whether they are doing or not, ultimately whether you are thinking or not, that is more important. Because you cannot put your blame on anybody. Whether you put it your blame or not, that's a different story. You are going to suffer at the end. Isn't it? So, as you rightly suggested, what is the parameter to identify whether I am the right track or not? The best parameter here is test yourself whether you are giving a 360 degrees view of different focus areas or not, different issues or not. So you mark this my words here, 360 degrees view. What are all the areas which are connected to them? On them the question will be framed. That is how exactly they are doing. Yes, anybody else?
So in that mock test, which we are going to do in March or April, what should be the ideal score in that? Leaving the CSAT factor aside, GS paper 1 in mocks, what should be the score?
See,
ideal score to fit with that seems very clear.
See, normally what happens is they are not revealing what are the cutoff marks.
But now they reveal that.
Now they say they are revealing, right? But always you must be at least 5 to 7 questions ahead of the cutoff. Safe zone. It must be safe zone. But again, this cutoff mark may vary for different categories, isn't it? That also you need to take into account. But normally what we think is, say for example, out of maybe 100 questions you are there, that it. How much you are scoring now?
No, now in March, April.
Achha, March, April. You are worried about mock test. Why you are bringing you under so much of stress now? I will tell you one thing. As a student, first, don't worry about your mark. Don't worry about your score at this stage. All these are for wishful thinking and discussions many times. What is more important is set your approach correct first. Your basic framework correct. Once the framework is correct, approach is correct, then everything else will fall in place automatically. And yours is not an examination of some, if you cross these marks, you are okay. Like your CSAT, they have given minimum marks. Others are not. This is a competitive one. Competitive one in the sense what? You must be ahead of others. It is not how much you are scoring that is important. What is important is how much your competitors are scoring. You have to score more than your competitor. That's all. Isn't it? So, my simple suggestion to all the students at this stage is don't worry about your score in the test. Even it is your sectional test that you are taking now, or an integrated test, or the one that you are going to take full length test at a later stage. Don't worry. Isn't it? Even when we wrote JEE also the same thing. Isn't it? Your marks at the practice tests are entirely different from finally what you are going to do at the end. No, not like that. See, once you start focusing on that scores, and if you get into that mess of scores, etc., your psychological status will be entirely different. You will come under tremendous stress. And many a times, one test you may be doing well, one test you may not be doing well. No, that is not the issue. My question here is whether your approach is correct or not. While preparing for the examination, are you keeping these things in mind or not? Or you are leaving everything to the faculty and everything to the institution, as if they have to do and they have to prepare the question paper and give it to you. Nobody can prepare any question paper, isn't it? And you cannot expect the questions that are asked here to come in the actual examination hall. Normally that won't take place. It's not like other examinations where the more or less same questions will come there. Okay, in the main examination, to certain extent you can do that thing. We can come very, very close to the actual question paper in the main examination, but not in the prelims. So what I want to hear from you and know from you is, when you are attending the classes and when you go back, when you are writing, that means when you are preparing for the exam, then later on when you take the test, and then I think for all the tests you will have discussion. Discussions will be there. Solution. That means answers they will do. Will there be any session? Okay. So do you do one thing. Any practice tests that are given, have you ever thought that why that question is given? Why that question is given? Have you ever thought? Or have you ever thought that a question you expect to come in a particular area, whether that area question has come or not? This is a very important aspect. Before getting into the examination hall or practice test also, you will be thinking that these are the areas from which questions may come, isn't it? Whether they have come or not, or something else has come. If something else has come, why it has come? There must be some reason. Right? There must be some reason. So try to probe into it, why that question is asked, why that question is put. I've seen one practice question paper of the latest question paper I've seen. I don't know whether it is here or not. In that question, they are asking about natural farming. Recent question paper, I think. Zero-based budgeting, natural farming. Did you expect that question? Are you aware that it is there in the policy framework and large being discussed in the policy framework? That's an excellent question. No, question may not come in that way, this and that, but that has a lot of relevance. In the government of India as well as state government, particularly in the government of India policy circles, there is a lot of discussion that is going on about the natural farming techniques, natural farming. They want to bring it into the policy framework. How you can bring it into the policy framework? You have the policy of incentives and policy of disincentives. Either you can incentivize this one, or otherwise you can disincentivize something else and promote this one. Now government is thinking, agriculture is a sensitive subject, sensitive thing. Government cannot introduce straight policies. They introduced the farm bills. You know what happened? That is, the farm laws they have introduced. There is so much of whatever, there may be political thing, etc. But ultimately it is a sensitive thing. Government cannot do anything in that way. But government has to do certain things. There are certain areas which require immediate and urgent intervention. Now you must be knowing our chemical fertilizer consumption has increased so much. And there is a lot of dependency on import for the fertilizers, chemical fertilizers. And there are problems on the external front in importing them, particularly from China. There are issues. As a result, we are facing a lot of problems on the supply of chemical fertilizers here in different states. There is hesitations from the farmers. And there is a huge amount of subsidies that are involved. And the subsidies being misutilized. And all this leading to soil toxicity. Isn't it? And having impact on the public health. It's a bigger issue. This is a bigger issue. So government wants to find some solution for it. But you cannot give a solution like saying that, come on, you stop using it, you go for that like they have done in Sri Lanka. I think you are aware. In Sri Lanka, what happened? They went in for organic farming, come on, stop all this. You know what happened immediately. Their productions went down immediately. There is a food scarcity. There is so much issues in Sri Lanka. There is enormous stress on the economy. Almost a revolution-like thing there in Sri Lanka finally. So you cannot adopt such strategies here. But at the same time, you cannot keep quiet. You have to intervene. So government is intervening slowly and slowly, a formulation. Now it is a key area. The natural farming systems, organic farming systems, whatever it may be. Prime Minister also recently in his Man Ki Baat, specifically is talking, if you have 2 acres of land, in 1 acre you do it, 1 acre you leave it to the others, and see for yourself whether there is a result or not. So government doesn't want to bring it some sort of directive. They want to encourage the things here. So in this process, what the government is thinking, what is the policy framework that is being put in place, how government, what policy circles are proposing, this you should know. And that's an excellent question that is given. My question here to you here is, before entering into the examination hall, did you think about these things or not? Are you aware of the importance of this area? If you are aware of the importance of this area, if you have anticipated this, you are right. Your preparation is on the right track. You are thinking properly. You can extend the same type of thinking to all other areas as well. That will see you through. Otherwise, without all these things, you are just dependent on some material, some guide, some question papers, test practices, this, that, etc. No. So it is not how many questions you got right, how many marks you scored, or how many test papers you have solved. It is not like your quantitative aptitude test where the more number of tests you do, the better refinement you will have. No refinement beyond a certain point here. Unless you have some understanding what you can do. If you write 20 tests, you will get 21st one, right? No. If it is in the case of, say, for example, quantitative aptitude test, that will be there. If you do 20 tests, 21st test, definitely there will be a difference. There will be progress, but not here. Here you should have the information. Are you doing this or not? And my suggestion here is when the test is solved and you are given solutions, when you reach your faculty, your mentor, maybe you may be in touch with a mentor here, or otherwise you will be in touch with your connected faculty member. You ask them one simple question. Many a times when students come to us, what they say? They bring the question, ask us for answer. This is the standard pattern. So you go to the faculty for what purpose? For knowing the answer for a question. I say, damn answer, why you are worried about it? Don't worry, that will not be asked. Answer is not important. What is important is you go and ask the examiner, the faculty member, your mentor, why that question is given. What is the context? Why do they think that this question is important? Question in the sense that point or that area is important. You have some discussion. If you have that discussion with senior member, your faculty or your mentor, they will give a lot of information. So now say, for example, the moment you said the natural farming, I was talking about so many things, their implications. A seasoned faculty member will give you a lot of information saying that yes, this is being discussed in the policy circles, in the government. There is an issue here, there is a challenge here, there is a problem here. And regarding this, so many conferences are held, or some event is held here, or it is in news for so and so reason, for right reason or wrong reason. This information you should. Once you know it, then automatically you will start thinking regarding other areas, what else can be there. The moment your brain starts thinking on your own, you are bound to crack this exam very easily. But unfortunately, whether it is in the study circles or in the students or in your student communities, you are not focusing on this type of framework. You are focusing on what? How many questions, how many answers, how many marks? Questions, answers, marks. Questions, answers, marks, they are the products. They will come automatically, provided that you solve this. You follow this rigor, you follow this process. You need to train your brain in that way. Because I always tell the students for the past 3 decades, what I am telling, I tell one simple principle. Learning is not an event, learning is a process. It is not that you learn today, gone. No. It's a process, it goes on. So, in order to get this learning process perfect, to decode this one, you need to train your brains. You have to work in that way. Consciously, you have to do it. Don't think that I have some fifth sense, sixth sense, or seventh sense is there automatic. No senses, no fifth, sixth, seventh, nothing like that. All senses you have to bring yourself only, nothing else. Okay? Yes. Don't worry. You may ask anything, I may counter, give so many other things. Your question also is not so much important here. The moment you ask something, I will tell. That is more important, right? Okay. Yes.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, sir, if I'm writing exam on Sunday, this Sunday, in the example, that will be so different. And if I'm writing the same question paper on Monday, and the results will be little better, sir. I don't know how to get over this.
No, it is not the question of Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Probably
No, sir. I'm saying if I'm
one day,
writing
another day, you are saying, right?
prelims exam, sir. If
Ah.
I'm writing prelims exam on this Sunday,
Ah.
Monday I'll be able to write better exam.
You mean if you get another day, you will get another?
The same question paper, sir.
No, I couldn't get it. You mean Sunday you have the exam, but had they given another 24 hours, probably you will be able to do well?
లేదు సార్ సండే నేను రాసిన ఎగ్జామ్ లో నా పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ డిఫరెంట్ ఉంటుంది మండే అదే క్వశ్చన్ పేపర్ నాకు ఇస్తే నా పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ డిఫరెంట్ ఉంటుంది అంటే ఎగ్జామ్ హాల్లో డిఫరెంట్ ఉంటుంది ఇంట్లో డిఫరెంట్ ఉంటుంది అంటున్నాను
Okay, same question paper you are saying, same question paper. No, probably the issue here is you are facing the exam hall stress.
How to overcome that?
First, you need to identify why you are getting that stress. What is making you? What is the reason? So there may be different reasons why the students become stressful in the examination hall. Number one, the ecosystem. When so many students are there along with them, you are writing, you are more worried about of what they are writing and what you are writing, how much they may get, how much you may get. That comparison sort of thing, that is the ecosystem. Because in the examination hall, you will have other students also writing, right? Then another thing is, the moment you are taking the exam, you are worried about the result. End. Even before starting answering the questions, you are thinking how much I will score this day, how what is going to my score, etc., etc. No, rather than these things, you do one thing. Whenever you enter the examination hall, first you tell yourself that, to yourself you should tell that, no, this examination I have to give my best. I have to give my best. It is not that I should get best marks. Forget about marks, how much you will get, etc. That's a different thing. I must give my best in this thing. How you can give your best in the examination hall? Provided that you have your brain calm, quiet, efficient. It must be efficient. It should not be agitated mode. That agitation mode, no. That will come by practice. You have to tell yourself many a times that nothing will fall, heavens will not fall if something goes wrong here. Going wrong is good enough. Why? Why going wrong is good? So that you know how you go wrong. So that you can take precautions to see that you will not go wrong again. If you don't go wrong here, you will go wrong in the actual examination hall. That is bad. Going wrong in the practice test is good, rather than going wrong in the actual examination hall. So you should appreciate if you are not scoring well, or if you are getting everything wrong, you appreciate here, because that is for your good. That's why you say a failure is stepping stone for success. That's so. It's a simple thing. And another thing is, don't think that you have a problem. Thinking that you are having a problem itself is a problem. And another thing is, don't think that you have only this problem. Everybody is there around you also have this problem. The moment you think that everybody has this problem, our problem gets reduced. That is simple thing. Don't worry, everybody who is writing exam around you, they also have the same problem. Right? If you go into the examination hall with this frame of mind, then probably you will do well. Yes.
Now, to answer the questions, is there any template or criteria which we have to answer like a particular topic so that we don't have to miss out the radar of the topic? So, you repeat the question. If you have to do the 360 of a topic, a certain topic, to anticipate the questions in the examination, is there any particular template or criteria to follow?
That's a good question. What he is asking is, if you want to have a 360 degrees view of a particular focus area or particular thing, is there any template? Of course, you cannot say that this template is going to be fit for all sizes, but you can have a minimum template, a general one that can be there. So any topic you are, then first you doing that, any focus area you identified, something which is of contemporary relevance for any reason. Number one, first thing you have to identify is why that is in news. It may be wrong reason or right reason. Why it is in news? What made to come into the news? Why it has come into the news? That is first factor you have to do. Then second importantly, has it any historical background? Genesis. What is the genesis of the issue? Sometimes we conveniently ignore the genesis, but the examiner will one statement connected to the genesis always. That is where we will miss out, isn't it? So genesis is second important thing. And third important one is there any policy that is already available with respect to this in the government? Our government, does it have any policy connected to it? Already available. Then number four, is there anything on the table of the government here in the policy circles which is being discussed about this? Some policy which is under formation, which is kept in the public domain. Then fifth, if this topic is the one, in which way it is going to impact India? What influence it will have on India, our governance structure, our administration, or our people in general? It may be impact on economy, it may be impact on social systems, it may be impact on cultural systems. What impact it is going to have? That's all. This is one minimum framework for any topic, but what point he has raised is extremely relevant actually, because this is template he is talking about. That template is very, very important. Any topic, anything, you have identified some area, etc., then immediately you fix this template. Minimum one. Beyond this, depending on the topic, depending on the area, maybe you may add something else. But this is the basic minimum one. That will definitely serve the purpose. And in the template, you can expand it by experience. Once you start doing it for 10, 15, 20 areas, then 21st area, automatically you will try to expand it. You will try to get into the new one. Then I forget to mention another thing. When you are fixing the template, this and that, don't do these things in isolation. As I said in the artificial intelligence, that rare earths or critical minerals is flagged as part of it. Immediately go to the critical minerals policy, go to the resource base. That you should have done. That means students should have done it. So for every area, when you are trying to answer within the template, that template will throw up certain other sectors, related sectors. Immediately you go to that related sector. That related sector may not be connected to this section. This may be a core polity, but it is connected to economy. This may be core economy, but it is connected to geopolitics. It is core geography, but it is connected to environment. Many times these are all the things which have a lot of interlinkages. So you identify that interlink. If you can do it, that's great. So if you start doing this, practicing this one consciously, initial 10 days it may be some sort of boring and laborious work for you. Initial 10-15 days if you do this work. But after 15 days, 2 weeks, you will find a lot of interest in it. The way you prepare will completely change. It will be like a huge network, like your printed circuit board PCB. From one area to another area, from this node to that node to this node, you will be moving, trying to relate one with another. The moment you start establishing the linkages, that's going to be great. Because beyond this, the examiner is not going anywhere. In fact, he is only getting you on the wrong foot in this area. That's all. Yes. Anyone else? Feel free.
So how many full-length mock tests we have to do before the exam?
How many?
Full-length mock tests.
Full length mock tests. How many they are giving?
Many we have to attend this.
See, we can tell you the minimum, but not the maximum. Minimum can be prescribed. Maximum sky is the limit. Isn't it? The more you do it, the better it is going to be. Isn't it? If you go for some 5 or 6, that is the minimum. 5, 6 is minimum. Because what happens in the first mark test, full length test, you are talking about full length test, na? Full length test. First test, second test, you will be coming into the groove. It's like a desk rehearsal. You are getting accustomed to the auditorium, you are getting accustomed to the things, etc., etc. 1 and 2, that initial accommodation process will be there, 1 and 2. And 3 and 4 are going to be the real tussle, where you will really fight and try to, that stress you are talking about, how much he is talking about, number of questions, all those things will come in the 3 and 4, where you will try to really see where do you stand, where others are there, when compared to others, where do you there, that 3 and 4 will be there. Fifth one is going to be your last, what you call it as attempt before getting into the examination. Generally 5. 5 is the minimum. If you have a choice of beyond 5, it's well and good. But again, if it is too much, and don't take any what you call it as full length test, maybe within 1 week into the examination, actual examination. Last 1 week, you should leave to yourself. No exams, nothing. No practice tests, nothing. Anything that is done a week ahead, that's all. Because last week, you should not write any test, get any score. That is going to be counterproductive. No. Whatever the grand test you do it 1 week before the actual exam. Up to that day, how many? It's no problem. But 5, we say it is the minimum, maximum. Okay. But generally, between one test and another test, there should be gap. Otherwise, you take a grand test today, tomorrow again you are taking a test. What makes difference there? No. The moment you have taken a grand test, you must be able to sit back, analyze where do you stand, find out what went right and what went wrong, and what else adaptations you can make, some soul searching, introspection, and recalibrating your strategy. There must be some scope for you. So if they give weekly 2 grand tests, that is also counterproductive. No. So that's why I say it is 5. That will be an optimum one. Yes.
So as you told that we have to go with the current policy things. So sir, what we have to refer, like newspaper, current affairs, and sir, what more?
Government of India websites.
PBI.
PIB is there. And all Government of India, different ministries are there, departments are there. Their websites will pop up. They will be giving you regarding the major policies, isn't it? Changes, regulations that are introduced, acts, etc. There may be hundreds, but again, you need to use your discretion, I say. That's why in the civil service examination, another golden rule here is you should know what not to read. What is the golden rule here? What not to read. Earlier, students are more worried about what to read, isn't it? No, what to read is not issue here. What not to read is the issue. When you open the website, so many things will be there, isn't it? But of course, when you get matured and you do this type of analysis and work, you will be knowing what to read and what not to read. Definitely. Then many a times, media, problem with the media here is particularly your electronic media, mainly electronic media, nowadays print media also. Their problem is they try to sensationalize the things. They will pick up only controversial things. Negative things they will pick up. Positive dimension is not coming into the media at all now. No. Because it has no viewership value. That is the problem. Because all those print and electronic media, they are worried about viewership, isn't it? That viewership ratings always for negative things only. Controversial things, disputes, conflicts. They are also important, but that's only one dimension the media will give. Other dimension is completely missing. That you can get it only from the official publications, official websites only. But the problem with the official publications and official websites is so many things all put together available, important and not so important. Which is relevant for our exam, you have to use your discretion. Of course, this is where the faculty or the institutions, they will come to, they will help you, assist you to a large extent, support you to a large extent. Yes. Yes. You need not frame questions. As they come to your mind, you tell. Isn't it? We are not in a very structured, formal, what you call it as discussions or meeting here.
Usually when I study, I dig deep into that issue. So to overcome that, people say you need to keep your syllabus in front of you so that you don't deviate from the demand of the exam.
What is there in the syllabus?
That syllabus is so open. How can I?
That's what I am saying. When somebody says keep your syllabus, what is there in the syllabus?
How can I know my boundaries about?
No, who said that you are digging deep? You are saying or others are saying?
I feel so.
You feel, right?
Because my notes is so bulky, so it is getting bulky.
Okay.
That's why I feel it is.
Okay. I couldn't bet why digging deep means digging deep is a positive aspect actually.
To get a better understanding, I do that, but I feel somewhere I'm wasting time on it.
It is an asset. In the preliminary examination, it is an asset. Mains, it is counterproductive. Mains preparation always needs to be focused. It must be focused, parcel type. Prelims needs to be extensive, wide. And what you are doing is good for prelims. All right. Yes.
Also, how can I type my answers so that they are self-explanatory? Like I brought in to write those kind of terms which are self-explanatory.
But that's a different ballgame. Main examination, answer writing, we will take up in some other session, which is completely different. This field is different, that is different. Their challenges are different, approach is different completely. Prelims, handling prelims is different. Handling main examination is different. At some point, we will come to the main examination also in some other session, sure.
So over the years now, international economic institutions also have given importance in things like Asian Development Bank, G20, Shanghai Cooperation Organization. A lot of institutions are there over the world now. Who to filter out the most important?
There are so many institutions, whether it is economic institutions, political institutions, or military organizations, but the one that is in news is generally picked up. Normally, the examiner is not picking as some random thing which is not at all related, which is not in news. No, he is not doing many things. But as you rightly pointed out, one important thing he is giving, of course, not straight question, but he is giving an idea of one thing. The way the questions are being asked, it is almost attention to detail. They are going into the core area. They are not asking the what you call it as the macro things, peripheral things. No, they are digging deep into it. Say, for example, you take your economy question paper. Earlier, economy questions means what? What is your planning, then budget, GDP, budget, deficit, current account, revenue deficit, this, that, some economic schemes, or other taxation, tax rates, this, that, etc. Now, where they are going into? They are going into the core finances, core macro finance. They are talking about hedge funds. They are talking about alternative investment funds. Have you seen the question paper? AIF. They are talking about AIF. So this AIF is related to what? Why the AIF is in use now? So AIF, you have category 1, category 2, category 3 funds. And category 3 are recently opened in order to promote the foreign investment. And Gift City is established. Are you aware? The Gift City in Gujarat. They have established Gift City. And a specific, that means that is a specific, a structure is brought in. A financial institution is brought in. For what? It's basically one institution that is brought in to facilitate foreign investment. Where it is the foreign portfolio investment or the foreign venture capital investment or it is from the NRIs. They want to attract the foreign investment because foreign investment is crucial for us. And particularly after the pandemic, last 2 years, suddenly there was a flight of capital from India. Isn't it? Are you aware? And we are very much worried. And our economy fundamentals went down. The moment there is a flight of capital and eroding the confidence in the Indian market. Erosion of confidence in the Indian market is a big question mark. Because your economy nowadays, economy means it is not producing something and consuming something. No. Your economy is in a connected to the global markets. So bringing in investments is very, very important now. And in order to attract these investments, you need to have flexible, what you call it, regulatory regime is required. Specific structures are required. They have established Gift City for that purpose. And they are allowing category 3 funds there, alternative investment funds, in order to deal with what you call it as the volatile structure and volatile institutions. Huge amounts. There is a massive rise in the AF category 3 last 1 year, half year. And all the financial institutions, major institutions, they are looking towards it now. You must be knowing all big merchant banks, financial institutions, whether it is a Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, or say, for example, your D. Shah, they are attracted towards it. They want to tap this one now and bring the money into India. Use this Gift City structure, then invest it everywhere. And this is a core finance that is taking it at a global level. And earlier, these type of things were not there in our question paper. Generally, these are all discussed in corporate financial sectors. Where these are discussed? In corporate financial institutions, they are discussed. Whatever is being discussed in the corporate finance, that has come into the UPSC question paper now. You must have seen there is a question on AF. But earlier, no. Earlier, if you know what is GDP, what is GNP, what is the growth rate, what are the sectors, what is inflation, types of inflation, your planning, budget, isn't it? Your tax cuts, tax rates, over. Fine, you can write your exam and get through it. Now, no. You should know what is a hedge fund, what is AF, what are the different types of things on the AF there. Isn't it? This is core finance, which some of the MBA finance students also do not know, unless you are part of the corporate financial structure. And nowadays you can see year after year in the economy, questions are there more and more on RBI. Are you aware? Earlier it was on planning commission, Niti Aayog. Now no planning commission, no Niti Aayog in our question paper. What is there in the question paper now? RBI is there, isn't it? Number of questions on RBI related things. What it is doing, what it is not doing, what is its implication. That means it is a core. They want the student to be technically capable. Technical means not we are talking about electrical technology, isn't it? No. Financial technology. Finance connected to technology. And you have a question on UPA. Isn't it? UPA. And same is the trend you find in geography also. Geography earlier, what is there? If you know what is greenhouse effect, geography, environment, fine. If you know what are the layers of the atmosphere, that is fine enough. If you know what is international dateline, that is good enough. Now, what type of questions are coming? You look into the questions in geography there. They are looking into the more finer aspects of scientific dimension of geographical aspects. They are talking about dust particles, their concentration in different layers. Isn't it? And there is a straight question on plate tectonics, continental drift. Isn't it? See, unless you get into the depths of the subject, you cannot answer. Only some of the optional students only can answer. Such type of questions are there. Same trend you find elsewhere, whether it is in economy or in geography. And certain questions are tricky. What is tricky? They are not asking you where the international boundary line is there. But instead, what is the question that is given? He says that one person is in this part of Eastern Siberia and another person is there in the Alaska. And they are moving. Then they say, what he is saying? They are asking about the time. Which day here, which day there. So basically they are talking about the international dateline, whether you are aware or not. There is international dateline separating Alaska, that is of USA, and the Eastern Siberia, that is of Russia. Slightly tricky in nature. So you need to be careful. The demand is there. But provided that if you know that this is how the things are going on, you can very easily calibrate your response, structure your response. Without knowing this, if you start burning your oil, no, nothing. You should know the demand, the way the things are being asked. Yes. Anything else? Others from the other backbenchers?
Sir,
Yes.
some seniors would be saying that we can predict the UPSC question paper. We can predict the question paper.
Predict?
How could I predict the question paper, sir? How will I know that this question is definitely going to come?
See, predict in the sense it is not leakage of question paper.
No.
What I am saying is, predict the question paper means, yes, definitely we can predict the areas from which the questions are going to be asked. Whether it is in prelims or it is in the main examination. That's what we have been discussing so far. That's what I said. You have to predict, forecast. Isn't it? Without keeping an eye on prediction or forecast, your preparation should not move. That will be blind otherwise. Now, your target should not be that, okay, I bought this book. Come on, I have to complete this book today, tomorrow. Or otherwise, I have started attending the classes. I have attended. So there is 10 tests they are taking. I have to attend all the 10 tests. No, that is not the target. The target is from every section, identify the focus areas, possible areas. These possible areas will change from year to year. That you need to identify. Definitely. We can predict. Mains we can predict more. Prelims slightly less. But that's always possible. Yes. Any other thing? Clarification? You tell what you are doing, somebody. What you are exactly, in which way you are preparing. Can someone tell me? As on date, how you are preparing. And how do you want to change, mold your preparation?
Sir, one question, sir. Sir,
Hmm.
people who wants to give their attempt in 2027, sir, what do they need to follow for prelim strategy?
No, strategy will be one and the same. Whatever you see, you cannot expect what is going to happen in 27. But knowing about what is 22 is nothing wrong. You have to know, you should keep your pot boiling now till 27. But the strategy is going to be one and the same. I think. But one thing you can do, if you are writing your exam on 27, you take a dress rehearsal of your what you call it as 26. On the 26th day of exam, think that you are writing your exam, prepare very well for it. After the examination is over, you pick up the question paper from your friend, and in the evening, 2 hours you sit and you write. In the form of an exam, you write. Then test yourself once where you are. You do it on the same day. On the same day, you do it. Because that's going to be great for you, isn't it? Almost like writing an exam without getting into the examination hall. So you make some logistic arrangements on that day. The moment the question paper is given, or otherwise the best thing is immediately once it is out, ask them to send it on WhatsApp. Immediately you start writing, keeping 2 hours time. That will be the best thing. Yes. Yes, others. You do one thing, don't ask any question, but tell me what you are doing so that I will know what's actually going on in the student community. Hmm? Hmm.
What I'm doing is actually, first I started with the static part. I thought I won't give it in 2026. So I'll give it in 2027. So I thought, okay, and
Part of your question, even if you are writing your exam in 2027 also, as I suggested her, you think that you are writing in 26 itself. You give everything out in 26. Only the difference is you will not apply, you will not go to the examination hall. All rest of the things you do. Get it? So don't train your brain or give a suggestion to your brain that you are going to take in 27, you have a lot of time leisurely you can do. No, no, no. Tell your brain first, tell yourself that you are going to take in 26 itself. That's all. Prepare in that way. So mentally you prepare for that.
but some subjects like science and environment all, when I read this current affairs on newspaper, I'm not able to like, do things. I don't know about the nuclear reactors or whatever. If it is in news, I don't know about the nuclear reactors. So how can I?
Nowadays everything is there on the tips. You use your internet, you use your AI platforms. Ask them, they will tell you immediately. Any question, ask the chat GPT now. First they will give. Basic thing they will give. Other things don't rely on them. Not it. Information is not an issue. First thing is you should shed your concept that I am going to take after 2 years, and this 1 year I can slowly, slowly, slowly move at a snail's pace. No, not that. Even if you are taking in 27 also, you prepare for the 26 exam. Write that exam on that day. That will keep you in good state. After the exam, you should think that you should curse yourself that I should have written this year itself. Get it? Hmm? Okay. Yes. Anything else?
and we are linking that current affairs with our syllabus. What is there, we take some current affairs and we do subject and we are going to and the other thing is like some subjects we already that syllabus completion, and for that the students connecting day by day. For that, like we are studying some syllabus and we are going through that syllabus and day by day. And after 1 week, like full length they're combining the 3 4 chapters. They're connecting.
Okay.
After the completion of these 2 to 3 weeks of completion, and after 3 weeks there will be some full length of that particular subject.
No, that's good. So whatever the structure you are suggesting, that's what you are doing in the institution. That is pretty well. So very well framed actually. But in addition to that, you can do one thing. One thing you can do is you are doing these things separately. Economy separate, geography separate, environment separate. Now, see if you can establish link between them. You yourself try to do it. Some area in economy which is being widely discussed, has it any environmental implication? Or something in environment, does it have any economic implications? Some cross linkage. See if you can have it. That is one part. Then second important thing I suggest is, this structure you have not devised, institution is doing. That means they are doing lot of background work and spade work for you. And in that process, they are saving you a lot of time, effort. Then what you have to do on your own? You do one thing. In addition to these things, after writing the examination or before writing the examination for a particular chapter or whatever it may be section it is there, have you ever thought of preparing a question for yourself, you on your own? You keep yourself in the shoes of the examiner. Formulate a good question that is of UPSC standard. Have you done it? Do that thing, because that will really sharpen your brain like anything. Okay, I want to give a question. I want to prepare a question paper. How I can prepare a question paper? So for preparing a question paper, it is not that easy. You have to do a lot of study, isn't it? Try to do it. At least 1 or 2 questions for every section. Try to formulate a question on your own and see whether it is of UPSC standard or not. Then if you do it before the practice test, see whether that type of question has come in the examination or not. Or otherwise, after the practice test is over, see what other questions you suggest. You can try to formulate. Say for example, you have taken a 50. How many questions are there in your practice test now? 50 you are taking, right? 50 you are taking. So after writing the 50 question test, can you prepare 5 questions? Try to do it. Try to do 5 questions, and you give your 5 questions to some of your friend, neighbor. See how they will answer, and ask them to give 5 questions from their side to you. Challenge. So that will keep you in a different mode. They will sharpen your brain process, and that will add to interaction between the student communities, amongst the student community also. So after the exam is over, from your side you prepare 5 questions, and your friend, your neighbor who is there collaborating with you, 1 or 2 friends may be there. Ask them to give their own 5 questions. All 2 or 3 people, you may be having some small, well-knit social groups may be there, 2, 3, 4. Am I correct? Or everybody is doing on their own? On their own. You don't have any group 2, 3. My strong suggestion is, don't do it in isolation, in compartmentalized mode, individually. You should have a group, but that group should not be too wieldy in nature. That results in noise rather than voice. Got it? So you should have 2, 3, 2 or maximum 3. Max is 3, nothing beyond 3. 2 or 3 friends you can have, and collectively you can do. Collectively you can get so many ideas always. So when I say you prepare 5 questions, they will prepare 5 questions. And these 10 questions are 3 people, 15 questions. When you start discussing for half an hour, then things will be great. A lot of new insights will come. So always do it. I encourage students to have small, well-knit, socially integrated groups. But of course, the group should be such that you should focus on academics. That's the Bottom line always. They should not become platforms for gossiping, isn't it? And killing the time. Of course, as a stress buster, they are okay, good enough. Sometimes you need some relief when you come together, it's fine. But you need to fix the limit. Isn't it? So that's like driving a vehicle. In driving a vehicle, what is important? It is not accelerator that is important. Brake is important, isn't it? You should know when to apply the brake. Whether you are applying the brake at the right time or not, that's more important, right? So, like your stock market behavior. In stock market also, it is not when to invest. What is important is when to withdraw. That is more important, isn't it? There are small things. So here also your student community, that is where you should draw that red line. But I strongly recommend if you can form 2-3 good serious students who are homogeneous on the same plane, if you can come together, that's great. Always. Yes. Fine. Wind up or any other things? Nothing. Okay. Right. Okay. Thank you all.